And joining me on behalf of the board, and I'll ask them to stand, are Charlie Wilson, board member with me, and Jennifer Best. And board vice president Sam Shim. So. We are so excited to see you all, and the community is excited that you're back in these buildings this week. The floors are all shiny, and the classrooms are all freshly decorated, and there's so much energy in this room. I said last year after Convocation, why can't every day feel this way? Like, we should bottle up this energy, maybe in those little bottles, and have Convocation energy. I'm sure there are a lot of times through the year we could all use that. Shortly, you're going to hear some inspiring stories and get some good information to center us on this year's theme, Words Matter. I don't know that I don't have an inspiring story to tell, but I do have a quick story that I would like to share. Back in the dark ages, in 2002, when I calculated literally some of you were in preschool, hopefully not before that, someone in my life convinced me that you didn't have to necessarily be an athlete to run a marathon. You could just be stubborn. That was going to be enough. So somehow I registered for the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C., and my sister said she would do it with me. So we went, and it was the day before, and we were going to pick up our packets and our race numbers and all that, and we're walking through this expo, and I'm kind of feeling very intimidated by this point. I'm not sure why we picked the Marine Corps Marathon as my first one. I mean, some of these people were going to run the entire 26.2 miles with our flag, some in full combat uniform. I'm just thinking, oh my God, did I just get my race number? So we're walking through the expo, and we're getting our packets, and that was back in the real dark ages before they figured out a way to put the timing chips in the bibs. And so you had to get these contraptions that you laced through your shoe to put on. And so you had all these different stations, and so at the last station you were to test your timing chip. And again, I'm just thinking, let me get in here and get out. And my timing chip doesn't work. And I just want to hide, and I don't want them to know I'm not really a runner. And I look up at my sister, who at least has one marathon under her belt with these eyes, and I said, what are we going to do? And she goes, look. And straight ahead of us, at the end of this whole maze we've been walking through, were these helpful-looking people behind the tables with 2 words to label them. And it said, Solution Center. Now, that may sound corny to you or overly euphemistic, but at that moment, I loved it. I mean, the very name implied that whatever issue I had, they were going to find a solution. And that put me at ease. Now, it wasn't critical. I mean, my 2 goals for the first marathon were finish in the same day you start and don't die. So I just thought, no big deal. But they got me a new timing chip, and the Solution Center was, in fact, that. And I've actually thought many times back over that purposeful word choice. And I also have thought that all of you in this room that I'm looking at are hundreds of mini solution centers. I mean, we have busy families that have both parents working, they have new students to register. Don't worry, Welcome Center, they'll get you on a Saturday. We've got kindergartners scared to death to get on the big yellow bus. Don't worry, our transportation folks got the first rider. They order up a sunny day first for you. Then they've got their first-time riders and put everybody at ease and put smiles on everybody's faces. The same thing, classroom teachers, school nurses, school counselors, food service people, the poor little kids that forget their numbers on the first day. So you all are our solution centers, and our community thanks you, our parents, and most importantly, our students thank you. So, as I say, on behalf of the entire board, thank you all for being here. We're super excited for the school year, and on that, I will let Brian Morgan take over.
Again, I'm Brian Morgan. I'm the new Worthington Education Association president, taking over from Mark Hill. Thank you. Really happy to have everybody here. It's a great, this convocation gets more and more impressive to me. Those of you who've been around a while, we were kind of reminiscing how we didn't have to open the top balcony. And in fact, I remember some people would sneak up in there so they could sneak out to get out. Now we're setting up seats all over, and may have to find a new place. But before I get started, I want to welcome everybody. There's almost 800 certified staff this year. And we would like to see all of our new folks stand up. We have, I believe, 41 new to Worthington City Schools. Very good. Years ago, I think we would have 10, and we were like, all right, we've got 10, that's cool. And also, I would like to recognize maybe, let's go 25 and plus. There aren't as many of us around anymore that are 25 and plus. 25 plus. If you notice, they don't look quite so excited. If I asked the people who are retiring this year, they'd be doing somersaults up and down the hallway. This year's theme is words matter. I like that. Actually, my family and I talk about that all the time. Words matter. How you say it matters. What you say matters. And in my experience, there is no place on earth where words matter more than when you're sitting in a tattoo parlor. Words matter. How you say it matters. How you write it matters. How you spell it matters. Years ago, in the late 90s, Nike came out with a hat. And it had what we believe to be the Japanese symbol for Buckeyes. Keyword, believed. It was beautiful. It wasn't Dick's Sporting Goods. I forget what the place was called there on Sawmill. We all, buddies, went out and bought it. We're getting this tattooed. It's happening. We didn't even hesitate. Within like 2 weeks, we had it scheduled. 4 or 5 of us got it. Great. Hey, man, what's that mean? They have it on my leg. It means Buckeyes in Japanese. It's awesome. Didn't fact check. Didn't follow through with anything. Didn't ask my Chinese and Japanese cousins. Didn't shoot that by them. Hey, what's this really mean? Didn't matter. It means Buckeyes in Japanese. Well, about 4 years later, we got a boy moved in to Worthington Hills. I'm taught math at Worthington Hills for about 18, 19 years. Ipe Koda. Ipe's family came for business, I forget. And he knew zero English. Smart kid, great kid, very athletic. And as the year went, he picked up more and more English. Well, in the springtime, I had shorts on, which, I went pants shopping this weekend. For those of you that know me, it's a pretty big deal. Real big deal. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, woman of Macy's was shocked. So, in the springtime, Ipe, who again had started learning a little more and more English, and he actually was really funny. He started staring at my leg, and I'm like, oh boy. Oh, Ipe. So, Ipe, what do you think that says? I don't want to tell him. And he looked at me, and he looked back down, looked up, looked down, got down on his knee, looked real close. It's like, well, have I taught this kid so much English that he now forgot Japanese? It clearly says Buckeye in Japanese. Ipe, what's it say, man? Well, it could say crazy nut. And by then I was like, that's cool. Because I had already given up the Buckeye dream based on his look. Crazy nut, I'll take that. Or, what do you mean or? Or it means poor people race. What's poor people race? So he goes, it's like a soup. I'm like, oh. We're going to go crazy nut, Ipe. We're going to go crazy nut. As it turns out, there is no Japanese word for Buckeyes. Nike and Phil Knight lied to all of us. It would actually have been a great thing for, say, a Michigan alumni to do and put a really bad word on a hat and put it in scarlet and gray, and we would have done it. But anyway, words matter, right? And you think back, we all have these phrases, words, times, memories tattooed in our head. I've got a million of them. I got one from first grade. It's not a good one either. It's really bad. PE teacher. Wasn't good. First grade, I was 6 years old. Now, I got a lot of great ones. I got a lot of negative ones. But in the end, everyone in this room, you are a tattoo artist, tattooing kids' brains and other adults' brains with sayings and thoughts and feelings that you have the ability, don't mess it up, make sure it says what you mean for it to say. I think now more than ever, we need to watch what we say to each other. I mean, it's easy to say, hey, be kind to kids, do the right thing with the kids, but I think sometimes we forget each other. And now more than ever, I think now more than ever with what's going on in our society, with the way we are viewed as public educators, we need to look out for each other and make sure we're doing the right thing by each other. So have a good year. Every year, I always kind of joke, Convocation, like Julie was saying, is great right now. We should have one like April 20th. That would be fun. Have a great year.
Good morning. My name is Rusty Waring. I'm the WESP president. At this time, I would like to recognize all of our new classified staff people. If you are new this year, please stand up. Now, I would like to recognize all those who've been here for 25 years or more. Please stand up. Okay, so those of you who weren't here last year, just to let you know, I killed my speech. I mean, it was awesome, all right? Every person I run into throughout my year of being around the district, oh my God, your speech was so good. How are you ever gonna top it? What are you gonna do? The first day I saw Michael Curie, right after I got done with my speech, we coached football together. And he's like, that's the best, most amazing speech. You're not gonna be able to top it. All year long, even walking through this hallway this morning, I had 5 or 10 people. Oh, we can't wait to hear what you say. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? I got nothing. I have spent a year going over this speech in my head. I've written things down. I've asked for people's help. I've looked for divine intervention. I've done everything I could to think of to top last year. I got nothing. I'm okay with that, though. I am. I learned a valuable lesson when I was 18. I had a teacher, his name was Tom Savon. He was my American Lit teacher. We had to do an American Lit. We had to memorize a sentence or a stanza of one of our great American literature people. Authors. See, I'm winging it. So I picked something with cannons and thunder and blood and guts. And he asked me, he's like, why did you pick the Charge of the Light Brigade? And I told him, because cannon, thunder, blood, guts, you know, I'm 18. I like that stuff. He gave me Ralph Waldo Emerson, Self-Reliance. And in that sentence, there comes a time in every man's education where he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better, for worse, as his portion, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nurse, blah, 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 blah. I can go on, but I won't bore you. In that sentence, I realized that no matter what happens, even if I have nothing, it's my nothing. So all the expectations, all the people saying, what are you going to do? How are you going to top it? I can't, but I'm good with that because it's mine. So beyond that, I'd like to recognize some people that I didn't get to last year. I wrote them down last year, but this year I'm going to read them. I'd like to recognize financial services, payroll associates, data entry, district food services, district's maintenance staff, mechanical services secretaries, bus drivers, copy center, delivery warehouse workers, desktop technician, educational assistants, food service support associates, hardware support specialists, instructional technology, network specialist, special education, stagecraft production, technical systems information assistant, technical systems operator, transportation dispatcher, weight room technician, digital technology support, application support professional, testing specialist, and auditorium services. That's everybody, so I didn't miss anybody. I would like to thank each and every one of those job classifications and the people that are in it. Everything that you do for our students in support of their education, and for letting me be your leader this year. It's been amazing and humbling. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that was almost as good as last year, Rusty, but not quite. I have the pleasure of kicking this off, but since I was the only one who followed directions and stayed within the time limit, I'm teasing. I'm going to go off script for just 2 seconds, and I want to just indulge me for something that I have always wanted to do. Every single person in this room is important, but when he said something about Mr. Savon, I just think a lot of us in this room went, uh-huh. Can anyone who graduated from or attended Worthington schools in this room stand up, just so we can see how many that is? Like, people. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you. How awesome that is to see those of you who came back to serve the very district that you graduated from. So on that note, our fearless superintendent, who we saw earlier in another persona, is also a graduate of Worthington Schools, and I'm very, very proud to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Trent Bowers.